status in the hierarchy of the Marine Corps. Even a brand new
Yo.
lance corporal is an august figure. My rank meant nothing to them. All that mattered was that I had earned the title of Marine, and they had not. They'd
Oh,
snap to
Roel,
attention
let's
when I
go.
approached and say yes, sir, after
We have
every
a
word I
Pinky.
said to them.
Let's go.
Honestly, I enjoyed it. It made me feel important in a way that little in my life had up until that point. Everyone who was issued a recruit handler card acted a little differently with it. Some would do their best drill instructor impression. You might
Ooh,
see a corporal with a work
Justice.
party
Let's
running a
go.
bit
We
his
have
kill had ran
Pinky,
on him a
Justice,
few
and
years
Roel
earlier.
Bueno.
Another might act bored and irritated, sighing about having to deal with recruits at all and making a big performance of how far beneath him they were. I was always pretty nice to them. I'd let them sit down and relax when nobody was around. Once I let one take a
Oh man, that's so interesting. Yeah, because when you go to boot camp, you're not allowed to sit down. You gotta stand up, stay on your feet. You're either running, you're marching, you're exercising, you're whatever you're doing. You when you go to boot camp, you never sit down ever. It is against the law. It is a sin to sit down. Well, I just want to say hello to Justice Reckoning. I noticed, Justice Reckoning, that you posted a new video, and I cannot wait to watch it. I'm excited. Um, Also, we have a Pinky in the chat. Let's go, Pinky. I'm making a video, so I'll be back. See you when you get back. Okay, but so yeah, today I'm just retelling my story in the Marine Corps using this video, a video by, pardon me, it's a video by Lost Things Found, and it's a really it's actually part two of a trilogy. Oh, we have a, it's not new, it's a revamp, but yes, we'll post a new video soon. Oh, let's go, and I'm gonna go ahead and save it to watch later because at work, I'm often by myself, so I'm gonna go ahead and play it in the background and while I'm working. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to watch first listen. I'm gonna listen to it while I'm working, and then I'll go ahead and watch it. So Justice, please keep making content. Don't stop. It's really good. But yeah, today I'm watching a video by Lost Things Found. 49,000 subscribers. I do beg anyone watching this video to please subscribe and like this video if you can. Give them traffic because I'm kind of mooching off of it, and it doesn't feel right. So I do ask kindly to everyone to please go ahead and subscribe to this channel. And you know I guess I'm doing this as a way of you know I guess paying it forward. All right, so this is called or titled "The Marine Corps is Stupid and Spiritually Depraved." Look, when I saw this title, I got so infuriated. I was so furious about this. Um, I saw it and I immediately got angry because it's my beloved Marine Corps. I love the Marine Corps. It's in my heart. It's probably the greatest. It's I peaked in the Marine Corps. That's it. You know how some people they say, "Oh, I peaked in high school." Well, I peaked in the Marine Corps. Like that's like the greatest thing I have ever accomplished. And to see this guy like talk about the Marine Corps like this, but as I started watching the video and delving deeper and deeper and deeper into this video, I started to understand his perspective. This guy, I don't know his name, but I know his channel is Lost Things Found, and I know that his videos are he conveys the Marine Corps in the most honest way I have ever heard anyone talk about it. What is it? Don't judge a book by its title. True, very true. Oh, you're 100% true. I understand now, and it's true. A lot of what he talks about is, he talks about the Marine Corps in a very sincere way. So let's keep watching.
A bathroom break to call his dad, who was in the hospital, from my cell phone. I'd answer their questions about what it was like to be a Marine and if recruit training was eventually worth it, which they asked constantly because I was the first Marine they'd encountered who was not being a jerk to them. I liked
That's another thing. Sorry, I keep pausing it. If you want to watch it, go ahead and watch it. But I just want to give my commentary and kind of share my story. Um, that's another thing. When you're going through boot camp, you are constantly wondering what is it gonna be like when I finally become a United States Marine. And it's not what you think it is.
to think that this made me look like a good leader, but on some level, I knew I was mostly just performing for an audience. This is, in miniature, basically how power works in any large institution like the military. There is a vast hierarchy, and everyone within that hierarchy has some ability to make life better or worse for those below them. You can choose to be the jerk, the hard ass, or the nice guy, but these are all ways of enjoying the same power. And almost everyone enjoys this power a bit more than they would care to admit.
Hmm.
That fellow Marine that is standing next to you, right?
Here's the deal. There's all sorts of egos that go into the Marine Corps. When you put somebody in a position of leadership, and you see this at work, right? One of your peers gets promoted to supervisor, and suddenly they are in. They're just unbearable, right? You used to be cool when you were on the same level. You were just line workers. You were, cool with each other, but then hey, what's up, John Triglyth? But then somebody gets promoted to supervisor, and now they're just hard. They're hard asses, and that right there, it's the same thing when you go into the Marine Corps. You rank up, and suddenly you're better than everyone around you. Marines are immensely proud. I've never seen anything like them. Oh man, let me tell you, like to this day, until the day I die, until the day I die, I will always be a Marine. I will always, and even now, I will always be prepared and ready to, you know, I'm mentally prepared to, lay down my life for this nation. It's scary. It sure is. Don't get me wrong. I'm scared, but I'm willing to do it. Like I'm willing to go back, and if I'm needed, I'm ready to go back. And absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Oh, Royal Bueno. No, don't mention it. But let's keep watching. I just wanted to quickly mention how when people gain power, like they become supervisors or upperclassmen or whatever, suddenly they become drunk with power. It's intoxicating to them. And other people, when they get power, they become responsible. They become mentors. So it's a very interesting, I guess, social dynamic. Yes, thank you for your service. Oh, no, thank you, Justice. Thank you for that. How was your day today? Pretty good, John. Pretty good. I hope you had a good day too.
You'll be the embodiment of our institutional core values of honor, courage, and commitment. You will lead your Marines with
Sorry,
firmness,
I can't help
fairness,
it. I can't stand these guys. So this is what you're looking at right now. This guy's sitting in like chest deep water. This is a promotion ceremony. One of the guys is getting promoted to a higher rank, and so what you're seeing here is when they ask, "Hey, how do you want to be promoted?" Well, I want to be promoted in chest deep water, like a. Not gonna say that. I want to get promoted like an amphibious marine. And so he forces all these poor souls to get in chest deep water, and everybody's miserable, and everybody's grunting under their breath. All these guys right here, they're all miserable. Have a good night, brother. Thank you, Royal Bueno. Where do you fall in terms of power as a marine? Are you top or rarely humbled? Well, I was. I was easygoing. I never raised my voice. In fact, I was never in a position of power, you know? I never, I was never like a squad leader or anything. And I wasn't cut out to like yell at people. I never did, actually. I always spoke to people normally. And I guess that's not what they were looking for. They wanted, they wanted aggressive people that yell at other people. And I'm like, why? I can tell them what to do in a normal tone, and they do it. Do you consider yourself a rare Marine? I mean, I don't wanna glaze myself and say that I'm rare, but um, if anything, a rare Marine. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I was a. I never asked anyone if I was a good Marine or a bad Marine or exceptional. Honestly, when I got to the Marine Corps, I thought everybody was going to be professional, and turns out that's not the case. It's just a bunch of boogers. And then there were like let's say like Sergeant Savigny, Corporal Hannum, Sergeant Knight, Corporal Brown. Um, who else? Corporal Miller. Like there were very few Marines that were like professional Marines. Like I envied them and I respected them simultaneously. Like they were the epitome, the embodiment of what it means to be a Marine. They were hardcore. They were professional, tactically. Uh, when it comes to like practical knowledge, um, everything regarding technical knowledge, everything. They were the embodiment of what it means to be a Marine. And I wanted to be that, but psh, you ever seen those cats that they're like sitting on the kitchen island, and they're kind of like gauging the distance to the top of the refrigerator. So they stand on the island and they're like shimmying their tail and they're aiming for the top of the refrigerator. But when they jump, they only make it halfway and then they drop down. That was me in the Marine Corps. I aimed for the top of the Marine Corps refrigerator, but when I hopped, I stopped midair and then I plummeted. I don't know if that's a good analogy, but that's how I felt. Thank you, Justice. I just read this little part. Thank you so much. Let's keep watching.
Dignity, while observing and following the orders
Another
and
one.
directions of your senior leaders and enforcing all regulations and our
Well, I haven't heard of
governing
Dickie
the
yet.
discipline of the armed forces of the United States of America.
A few months after I arrived on Parris Island, a recruit died. He fell from a stairwell at one of the 3rd Battalion squad base. A death in training is a rare occurrence, and the Marine Corps works very hard to keep it this way. But the depot runs 18,000 teenagers a year through a stressful and demanding environment. Every so often, one of them dies, and usually it isn't really anyone's fault. When it happens, it is dealt with quietly and professionally, and training continues.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure I heard about this one on the news before I heard anything about it on base.
Parris Island, where no news conference is scheduled related to the death here on Friday. Public Affairs telling us this morning no announcements planned until the investigation into the cause is complete.
Me and Vicky are up in the next. Oh, let's go. No. They were there. She likes that channel.
The drill instructor is a mythical figure in American military culture.
I was talking to Vicky the other day, and she really, really likes going to Illuminex's chat. So, yeah, let her have fun. She'll come here when she's ready. Oh man, I can't believe I know the viewers. Like almost every viewer, I know you guys. That's awesome.
He is the Marine Corps made flesh, perfectly disciplined and squared away, but capable of erupting into violent rage at any moment. The mythology does not survive contact with working alongside them.
Cass, I swear to God, that's my PS4, and Red Dead Redemption is still in there, and you scratch my...
Okay, so they are the embodiment of... Okay, wait. Were they the embodiment of the Marine or the embodiment of the facade? Well, they were the embodiment of what the Marine Corps needs. Like, they were all combat veterans. They were all squared away. Their uniforms were clean. They impressed. Their mannerisms, right? Their leadership. They rose to leadership early. They knew how to organize Marines. They knew how to train you. They knew the MOS so well, their military occupational skill. They knew it so well that they could teach you. They could teach a civilian. You know, like we're talking about that caliber of Marines. So is it a facade? It's performative. I think everything is performative. You're absolutely right about that. But because you're putting up a performance, right? We wake up in the morning and we go talk to customers or, your boss or anybody, and you're putting up a performance for them, right? For everybody. So yes, you're absolutely right. They were, I don't know if it's a facade, but it kind of is when you think about it. So yeah, I guess the answer is yes.
Disc.
You better get the fuck online, boy.
You better
That's
get
all
the
I'm
fuck
gonna say.
online.
The Marine Corps is small enough that everyone who stays in will eventually work alongside everyone else. Drill instructors will finish their time on the drill field and then become clerks and operations chiefs in offices next to Marines who remember being screamed at by them.
Oh yeah, eventually drill instructors come back from the drill field. So it's not a job. You go, you become a drill instructor. You're a drill instructor for like maybe 4 years, 5, 8, 10, I don't know. And then eventually you come back to the fleet and you look weird. You look like a robot. They look like robots when they come from the drill field, and they've been so far removed from their MOS that they don't even know how to do their jobs. I mean, they still know it and they can do it well, but they're so mechanical.
Almost every Marine has this experience eventually. At Parris Island, you experience it immediately and impersonally because drill instructors are everywhere. They come into your office needing a signature or a photo taken. You attend the same depot-wide safety briefs or training classes together and work the same duties and security details. Most of the drill instructors I knew were pretty ordinary guys. Others just had what I would describe as a turn.
Yeah, but all of them, almost like there's marriages in the drill field have like a 99% failure rate. Most marriages in the drill instructor field, like, they all end up getting divorced. Maybe there's like 0.001% that make it, but those are, it's like an Iron Man achievement.
Terminal case of Marine Corps brain, where the institution has become their entire personality.
Oh man,
But most of them had a perfectly functional on and off switch. Come off the drill field, take off their campaign hat, and become a real person. Mostly I felt a little bit bad for them, especially the junior DIs.
My name is Sergeant Lennon.
Hey, Archer,
First name Gustavo.
welcome, Archer.
A drill instructor here on Parris Island.
They were, I came to realize, not so different from their recruits who had just graduated. They'd come off the drill field looking slightly shell-shocked.
Sergeant Thompson, it's been a while. Hold on. Let me get my voice back first.
A lot of them were thin to the point of looking unwell and twitched with a wired exhaustion, running on cortisol and cheap energy drinks to get through.
Oh yeah, those drill instructors. By the by the time Marines graduate, like the cycle ends, they get so skinny, like they look emaciated.
Through 18-hour days. Many of them preferred not to talk about their job. The ones who did seemed like they struggled to find the right language to describe it. Frequently, they'd complain about not seeing their kids for days at a time, or how poorly their leadership treated new drill instructors.
I think it's the same, because when you first make it into the Marine Corps, you graduate from boot camp and you go into the Marine Corps, into the Fleet Marine Force, and you meet your leadership, right? Your immediate leadership is your team leaders and your squad leaders, and they are, for a lack of a better term, they are unbearable. Absolutely unbearable.
The recruit training regiment is split into 3 training battalions. All 3 follow the same recruit training order and are held to the same official standards. But on both coasts, there's one battalion that has the reputation for being the toughest. There's even a rhyme for this. It goes, 1st Battalion makes men, 2nd Battalion makes Marines, 3rd Battalion makes machines.
Hey, Archer, don't even worry about it, man. Focus on your grades. Focus on improving, okay? Get better and get all the rest that you need. Don't ever feel compelled to be here, If you're struggling with your academics, by all means go and get some rest, get well rested, and get better grades. I'll see you around, brother. Vicky went
I've always
rogue.
suspected that 3rd Battalion's reputation is just as simple as the order of the number.
Oh, Vicky, no. Hey, what's up, little bro? The Nilerites? How's it going?
Numbers, and machines being the last and hardest sounding beat of a rhyme someone came up with a long time ago. But however it started, once a reputation like this exists, it becomes self-fulfilling. If 3rd Battalion is harder than the others, it is harder because it has a culture that insists it is harder, and that culture has to be maintained. The result is a constant pressure on the drill instructors to live up to this reputation. A junior drill instructor who is simply doing his job by the book will appear weak, and his career will suffer for it.
Paid is love, my bravery love. Paid is love, my
The
bravery
green
love.
weenie lives on his back.
My bravery
Let's
love.
go.
Paid is love, paid is love.
Oh, this is funny.
A few months after the recruit died, the commanding general of MCRD Paris Island was relieved suddenly, under circumstances that were not explained to us at the time. The new general arrived, quickly decided that unit morale was low, and he had just the idea to fix it. He issued an order stating that since everyone on the depot played an essential role in making Marines, we were all therefore entitled to our share of the glory. And the glory that he had in mind was the Moto Run.
The Moto Run. Let's go.
The Moto Run is the emotional centerpiece of Family Day, the day prior to recruits graduating. The families line the streets while the recruits run a loop around the depot in formation, singing cadence while their families scan the ranks for a quick glimpse of a face they haven't seen in 3 months. It's a nice little event designed to celebrate the new Marines.
I didn't get to do
But
that.
then, after the general's order, trailing behind the graduating company comes a few hundred permanent personnel of every age and shape, many of them visibly hungover and all of them unhappy to be there.
Oh,
Of course,
man,
nobody
they
ever
look
bothered to tell the
terrible.
families who we were. You could see their puzzled faces trying to work out why we were there as the applause and cheers fizzled out. One week, I had been tapped to work security along the route, and a woman wearing a t-shirt with her son's face printed on it leaned over and asked me about the Marines at the end of the formation. Most of them look too old to be recruits, she said. I told her it was RPP, the Recruit Penal Platoon, where we keep the recruits convicted of crimes during training, some of them serving decades-long sentences on the depot. We make them do the moto run every week to remind them of what they threw away, I said with a straight face.
That's a joke. It's not real. He just made that up. They're not criminals. They are permanent personnel. They work different jobs within Paris Island.
She frowned solemnly, watching the hungover gunnery sergeants and pot-bellied admin clerks shuffle past with the grave sympathy reserved for those who have ruined their own lives. I hadn't invented the lie on the spot. The penal platoon was already an inside joke that I shared with a friend. It was something we'd come up with to express how doing the moto run felt to us. It was a ridiculous image, but also exactly the kind of Kafkaesque cruelty the Marine Corps might plausibly have come up with.
Mm-hmm.
Marines have a name for this kind of thing. They call it getting fucked by the green weenie. The green weenie is waking up early to sweep a parking lot in the rain because someone important is expected to drive through the base later that day. It is when your leave request is denied so that you can stand in a formation for 3.5 hours on a Saturday, waiting for a surprise inspection that keeps getting delayed and is eventually called off.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the green weenie is just the Marine Corps being what it is, at your expense. Something shitty happens to you, you joke or vent about it to your friends, and life goes on. A large part of being a Marine is developing an enormous tolerance for being treated poorly and learning to shrug it off.
Yep. Collecting water. God, I hate that.
Fucking Marine, right? You want to become a fucking Marine, right? Yeah. You want to fucking become a Marine, right? Yeah. Like, fucking everything's fucked up, right? Yeah, everything's fucked up. Hey, but thank you, though.
A low rank.
Oh, I couldn't stand that. There's always that guy. There's always that guy in the platoon who's so demotivated he just drags everybody else down with him. Dang, I can't stand it. It's just this guy who's lost everything, every ounce of motivation, every ounce of discipline, every ounce of... There's not a morsel, a drop, nothing. There is nothing. These guys are just bereft or bereaved of any sense of self. And I couldn't stand those guys. Just do your time and get out.
Unmarried Marine lives in the barracks, in a small room that he shares with a roommate. The barracks are quite famously a miserable place to live. There is no privacy. There are ridiculous rules about what a Marine can and cannot have in his room and how his issued furniture will be arranged. There are weekly room inspections, which he will fail for extremely trivial reasons, such as dust on top of a door frame.
Did you clean up your Marine?
Yes, Sergeant.
Bullshit!
Or ice crystals inside of his freezer.
This freezer tray, make sure you don't have any built up ice up here.
When he fails his Friday morning room inspection, his Saturday is gone. He will spend the next day cleaning and standing by waiting to be re-inspected.
Yep.
Life in the barracks sucks. It is supposed to suck, and this is a running joke within the Marine Corps. And once something becomes a running joke in the Marine Corps, making it a bit worse is just a way of participating in the joke. Staff NCOs...
True. You're right. Everywhere you go, there's always a disgruntled individual, and they suck the energy out of a room. Like, something's already bad. Why make it worse? Why make it worse for everybody else? Why put them in a situation where they need to listen to every bit of to their tragic life of how everything bad happens to them. It's like they're oblivious to the fact that tragedy happens to all of us. It comes for everybody. It's even like personally packaged for you and personally packaged for me. Good night. Message you on Reddit. Oh, okay. Absolutely, Justice. Oh, wait, what? I messaged you on Reddit. Oh, wow. Oh, Justice, before you go, do you have a Discord? If not, I can probably ask later, but that'd be awesome. So, like, exchange Discords so you can, I don't know, stay in touch. I know there was a time where I didn't see your uploads, and you're probably busy, but definitely I'd love to, check in every once in a while. Foster, how long did you serve in the Marines? I served in the Marine Corps for 6 years. 6 long years.
Tasked with conducting inspections will regularly fill every single room.
Oh, you do have one? Oh, okay. Well, if you have it, I'd like to add you. I have a group chat with Zinx and I don't think John's there, but a bunch of other people. I don't know if you wanna join us, and I don't know, just content creators keeping up with each other. I just got like a little circle of support if you want to join us. It's up to you though, and I would really like that.
Room in the building for ridiculous reasons, because this is just what a staff NCO is expected to do sometimes.
How to turn on lights myself, infraction. More boots than is what required of a Marine, write those down, infraction. Lampshades not at 90 degrees, infraction. Shower curtain, shouldn't be there, infraction. Incorrect time on the coffee maker, write it down. That's
Zesty!
This room is disgusting.
Welcome
disgusting.
Zesty. And
Everyone
then,
understands that the system is
Cam.
absurd, while at the same time,
welcome Cam. Ears open, sir. Cool. What's the name? The name for the Discord is it's called the Raccoon Brotherhood. I think that's a very simple one. So if you want to join that, it's once again that's the literally as written, the Raccoon Brotherhood. Okay.
I'm participating in making it a little bit worse. The reason for this is that almost every Marine is, in some way or another, deeply unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
The military attracts all sorts of people, but everyone is carrying some kind of baggage. There are insecure kids with something to prove, kids from broken homes looking for a family they never had, and slackers and underachievers hoping to delay the terrible freedom of surviving all on their own. The Marine Corps takes in all of them and gives them somewhere to belong, a structure to live by, and an identity to be proud of.
I think that was me prolonging, having to go through life all by myself. I didn't join the Marine Corps out of this crazy sense of patriotism. I joined the Marine Corps because I was broke. I had nowhere to go, and I had nothing to eat. So I joined the Marines, and I was gonna join the Army, but life happened. But yeah, I hate to admit it, but that is the truth. I joined the Marine Corps because I was hungry.
And then it grinds them down. Far from home, governed by strict and absurd rules in toxic workplaces that they are not permitted to quit. The result is a population that is chronically stressed and often too young or too proud to admit that they are depressed and seek help. When you are miserable and bored and stripped of almost all control over your own life, one of the few reliably available forms of agency is to pass some of the bullshit onto those below you. At the front entrance of every barracks is a desk, staffed at all hours by a Marine on duty. Duty is an unavoidable fact of life for everyone in the Marine Corps. It is a 24-hour shift at the barracks in a role that is both security guard and receptionist. You and your partner on duty will take turns sitting at the front desk and patrolling up and down the building for the entire day and night.
Mm-hmm.
You are not allowed to use your cell phone, and many...
It's 24 hours of misery. That's what duty is. It's being awake for 24 hours. Man, talk about cruel and unusual.
Units prohibit any reading material that is not job-related.
This guy's video is good. But the vibe it gave me after watching it is that of a young Lance Corporal who can't and never appreciate the opportunities the Marine Corps gives you. Absolutely. And let me tell you, Cam, just reading this title alone just infuriated me. And I just started, but I do want to, in the defense of this person that made the video, it's one of the most honest descriptions of the Marine Corps. You know what I mean? When can we see the puppies? Yeah, we'll have a puppy one. Hey, what's up, Vicky? The only thing what I really like about the video is how honest this is about the Marine Corps. Yes, it's somewhat whiny. I get it, but I found myself like when they were talking about the when this person was talking about the two camps, right? The people that see it for what it is, and the people that see it for those who defend and those who are detractors. Obviously, I defend, right? I defend the Marine Corps because I love the Marine Corps. I love everything it did for me. And, you know, and then there's the people that, I don't know, maybe they're a little jaded. Maybe they had a horrible time. And I don't know, man. I'm in the camp that defends the Marine Corps because it does what it's not an accident. Everything that we do it's part of the grand purpose, right? It's not a YMCA, it's a USMC. Its intended purpose is for us to it's the best video describing life in the fleet. Absolutely. But I think so. The criticism is that it's really harsh, but the truth is it's intentional, right? They're preparing Marines to do the most immoral act, which is, you know, to take a life. Like, it's not supposed to be pretty. It's supposed to be ugly. And you're supposed to become somewhat desensitized. And that's the truth. And if you disagree, you can disagree, but I think history has drawn a very clear picture. The Marine Corps exists to kill the enemies of our nation. And if you don't have the stomach for that, then I don't know what you thought you were joining, right? I don't know what, if you go in there like, oh, it's so cruel. Yes, it's intentional. It's not an accident. But yeah, it's absolutely very accurate. It's a very accurate description of this. Drop and give me 50. All right, let's keep going.
Whenever someone important walks through the front door, you stand up, salute, and report your post. Because the duty desk is located near the offices of the company commander and first sergeant, this happens dozens of times an hour. And because duty is assigned by roster, you have no control over what day yours is scheduled. However, for those 24 hours, a Marine on duty has absolute authority over everyone in the building. He carries a logbook in which he is to write down everything notable that happens during his shift. Being reported in the duty logbook means that you are in massive trouble, and every Marine knows this. You do not press your luck with the duty NCO.
I never reported
In a
anyone.
way, barracks duty is the green weenie in its purest
should
form.
have.
It is both being screwed by it and, for anyone feeling spiteful or simply bored, an opportunity to become it. One time, I was on duty with a friend from my office. We were both known as incorrigible trolls, and when we were together, we had a tendency to feed off each other's worst ideas. At some point, we got the idea to take a styrofoam container of leftover spaghetti from the chow hall and dump it on the floor outside someone's door. I knocked, and when the Marine opened the door still half asleep, I pointed to the mess and told him he had spilled spaghetti all over the floor and would need to get a broom and mop from the cleaning closet and take care of it. "That's not mine," he protested. "Someone else did that." I nodded sympathetically. "Sorry, it's outside your room, and the regs say all Marines are responsible for the area right outside your door, so you're going to have to clean it."
The spaghetti store.
We went back and forth about it for a while, but ultimately I told him that if he didn't, I'd be forced to log it in the logbook.
I'm gonna log it.
I just said, go ahead.
I'm gonna log it, man.
And so he got dressed, got a mop from the cleaning closet, and cleaned up the spaghetti before going back to bed. My friend and I laughed like it was the funniest thing we'd ever done.
Oh, the Lackluster channel. Dun, 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 dun.
Anytime a recruit dies during training, an officer is appointed to establish the facts and produce a report. Most of the time, the findings are pretty simple. Some corrective measures are proposed, and that's more or less the end of it. In the case of the recruit who fell from the stairwell, it did not end up being simple. Nobody told us anything, but as the months passed, drill instructors started showing up to work at headquarters and service
Go to the
battalion
back
without a
rooms.
campaign hat or duty belt.
You know what, Vicky? I think the Marine Corps was the back rooms. Everything was a picture of another picture. The Marine Corps had to be the back rooms. There's no way. It had to be.
At first, it was just one or two, then a steady trickle more, until we had a small population of former DIs working at our company. This is what a criminal investigation looks like in the Marine Corps. You are quietly relocated to a desk somewhere while the case against you is built.
Well, that's not the way it happened with us. We had in one of the training exercises, one of our mortar cannons misfired. Well, it fired, but the data was wrong on the gun, so the round landed next to second squad in, I believe it was like second platoon. So we almost killed an entire platoon of our own people. And there was this massive investigation, and the first thing that leadership did was point fingers at us. Everybody threw us, my entire squad, under the bus. We got investigated. We had to make our individual statements. We got interrogated, and in the end, turns out that one of the guns was already yellow tagged, and they forced us to take it out. And for some reason, we ended up firing it, even though leadership knew that it was already yellow tagged. So they were like, "Oh, oops." And they tried to apologize, but it was too late. Like, I felt zero respect for leadership, for the company leadership. From our first sergeant to our platoon sergeant, nobody went to bat for us. Even the battalion gunner, threw us under the bus. It was just a freaking nightmare. And we had to, like, thankfully, so by the grace of God, every Marine in my squad wrote the exact same story. We didn't coordinate. We didn't have time to coordinate. But all our stories matched up, and it was beautiful. So we got away with it. But I was funny watching this. I'm driving past Paris Island front gate. Oh, dang, dude, you're still there? Where's that at? South Carolina or North Carolina? Because I went to San Diego. I'm a Hollywood Marine. So, Cam, I don't know which boot camp he went to, if he went to the East or the West, but oh, South Carolina. Wow. Yeah, I heard. So you were eaten alive. Okay. Yeah. Harsh.
Everything that is supposed to happen during recruit training is written down in a 200-page document called the Recruit Training Order. Much of what is written in it is common sense. Recruits will be fed 3 meals a day. They are allowed to go to sick call. Drill instructors are forbidden from drinking on the job. But many of the things that it prohibits are experiences that every single Marine will remember from his own boot camp.
No,
it lists 8
I remember seeing drunk drill instructors. And I think one of them got relieved.
Circumstances under which a drill instructor is permitted to touch a recruit. Outside of those 8 circumstances, he is required to keep a minimum of 12 inches between himself and any recruit at all times.
There was no 12 inches. I remember my drill instructors like digging their knife hand into my sternum, like pop, 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 and then they would fold their knuckles and then like rub my sternum like, what are you, blah, 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 you idiot sandwich.
The order specifies that even his finger, when pointing, must not come within a foot of a recruit's face at any time.
It doesn't happen. They still touch me.
It prohibits collective punishment for the actions of a single recruit.
Nope.
It prohibits drill instructors from using profanity.
All of that happens.
It prohibits them from trashing the squad bay and
Nobody
any
obeys
other
them.
activities primarily intended to create chaos, frustration, and confusion. Obviously, drill instructors do all of these things. A drill instructor who strictly follows the order will be perceived as failing at his job. Consequently, the order describes a version of training that does not actually...
By the way, apparently this guy's drill instructor caught wind of this video and messaged him. So I'm thinking they're gonna have like the drill instructor for the owner of this channel, Lost Things Found. They're gonna do like some sort of collaboration. So I'm excited about that. I want to see what they like. Listen to this story from the perspective of a drill instructor. You know, that I would love to see that. When I had a panic attack, I felt like I was in the back rooms. Oh, Vicky. Oh no. Well, welcome back from the back rooms.
There are still red lines, even if they are not written down. But the point at which an ordinary and acceptable violation becomes a career-ending one is not established. A drill instructor is responsible for the total control of 60 to 90 teenagers
Vicky.
around the clock for 3 months. During that time, he's expected to spend every waking hour operating as close to an invisible red line as he can, without getting caught on the wrong side of it. Physical violence against a recruit is one of these red lines. If it is witnessed and reported by the wrong person, it will end his career instantly. But it does happen. When it does, it is usually brief and impersonal. Generally, it just comes down to a momentary loss of control in someone whose job requires him to project an aggressive persona at all times. It is a thing that happens in the heat of the moment, and the recruit is not injured or traumatized by it.
Look at that rank on their collar. That's weird. Also back. Had to respond to an accident. Oh, dang. Hope everybody's okay, Zinks. Unfortunately, my neighbor's puppy got run over. Oh, puppy got run over. Wasn't pretty. Oh, no. There's my your new name is Vinky. Binky. I'm sorry about that puppy, Zinks. I'm sorry you had to see that. It's so sad.
The drill instructor is lucky. Everyone moves on under the understanding that training is meant to be intense. Years later, the recruit will brag to his friends about how savage his kill hat was. If the drill instructor is unlucky, he will be made an example of and discharged from the Marine Corps.
Mm-hmm.
Jay, this your first platoon?
Oh, yes, sir. My first recruit. I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna kick it.
You gonna hit recruits?
I'm sure.
Good. This is on.
That'll come out too.
Yeah.
Hey, look, that's how you said it was Stone. You said Stone.
Yeah, you said Stoll told us. Hey, it's a good thing that's on Stoll training last night because he's recording this, so anything that's on here is his fault. The record flash.
Dang. Hug your animals, everyone. All it takes is a quick accident. Yeah. Yeah. 100%, guys. Don't take your puppies for granted. I agree. Sorry, Saints.
In September of 2016, the investigation concluded and its findings were released. The recruit who died was named Raheel Siddiqui. He was 20 years old, a Pakistani-American Muslim from Michigan, and had been his high school's valedictorian. He had been assigned to Kilo Company, 3rd Recruit Training Battalion, and had been in training for just 5 days.
No, Pinky, welcome back.
On the morning of the 18th of March, 2016, Siddiqui approached his senior drill instructor, pointed to his throat, and gave him a handwritten note. The note read, "This recruit has to go to medical. This recruit's throat has been swollen for a few days and is getting worse."
Dang.
The drill instructor told him it would be dealt with after morning chow.
Sure.
When the platoon returned, he ordered Siddiqui
Sure, Pinky, go ahead and let us know.
to run back and forth across the squad bay for failing to give him the proper greeting. The drill instructor told him he did not care what was wrong with him. He was going to say something back. At some point, Siddiqui began to cry. Then he dropped to the floor. The drill instructor ordered him back up. When Siddiqui did not respond, the drill instructor slapped him across the face several times, hard enough to be heard across the squad bay. At this point, Siddiqui got up, ran to the rear exit, and climbed over the 3rd floor stairwell. His foot caught on the railing, and he fell headfirst 38 feet onto the concrete below.
Oh, man. Oh, that's not good. I remember this. I think it was in 2013 or 2014.
Over the course of investigating Siddiqui's death, the investigator interviewed the other recruits in his platoon and documented how the platoon had been run in the weeks leading up to the incident. Before going any further, it is worth taking a moment to explain how these kind of command investigations work.
So my friend Avery made a live today, but you're not able to go to his channel. And I was in it because they could hear me from the PlayStation.
When something has gone wrong badly enough to warrant one, the investigators catalog everything that violated the recruit training order. Every single deviation, from the trivial to the criminal, are listed together with the same weight. Presented without context to a civilian or reported by the media, nearly every finding will appear shocking. To a Marine who has been through boot camp himself, much of it will be familiar and unremarkable. Some of it may even make him feel a little bit nostalgic. A great deal of what the report lists as unacceptable conduct is, for better or worse, just what recruit training is. Recruits were made to hold out their rifles or footlockers for long periods of time. They were made to do push-ups until they vomited. Recruits were insulted and called names. Recruit Siddiqui was referred to as a terrorist, which many in the media took to be a targeted slur against a Muslim recruit. But in the context of the Marine Corps, this is a common slang for any recruit who screws up frequently. Being as charitable as possible, most of the findings in the report probably fit into this category.
Oh man, having bumps on his face, and he does, but it's because of his radiation and chemo in his skin on the neck. He's peeling off like flaky skin because the skin cells are dead on his neck. It's the same dude that made fun of my YouTube channel, the kids too, before it got banned, and he said that I should quit. Dadgummit. Pinky, don't listen to these people. We're able to get him banned because Avery reported him, and we also managed to get him. Good. Serves him well. There's no need to be nasty to other people for no reason.
But the report also documents many incidents that were not normal or were taken far beyond the ordinary limits. It lists numerous incidents of drill instructors punching, slapping, kicking, and choking recruits. It found that during martial arts training, drill instructors intentionally matched smaller recruits against larger ones. This
I
by
don't care
itself
about
is
that.
not uncommon, but
Yeah, I don't care about that. If it's training, you know, you never get a chance to pick your opponent. So one day you'll have to fight someone bigger than you. You can see him crying because he lost his Roadblocks account, and you could see the tears. Stream. I wasn't able because he said he knew my real name. Oh dang. Well, you gotta be careful with people online, all right? But at least you got him banned, so he won't be terrorizing you anymore.
the report goes on to state that DIs would order the larger recruits to continue striking after the whistle. 2 recruits suffered broken ribs and were dropped from training. Several recruits were exercised so intensely they were hospitalized with rhabdomyolysis, a condition in which the muscle tissues break down and flood the bloodstream with proteins that can cause kidney failure. On their drop paperwork, the cause was recorded as pneumonia. There was also a standing policy in the platoon that any recruit seen looking at another
Oh, he's 10 years old? Well, I mean, 10-year-olds, they tend to be very ill-mannered. They don't understand, like, social cues.
recruit being punished was required to join him. This, too, is fairly standard in recruit training, but the investigating officer notes that it had the effect of sabotaging his investigation, because everyone involved had been trained to stare at the ground whenever anything was happening. While all of this was coming to light, the rest of the Marine Corps was making jokes about the dryer. Among the report's most serious...
I remember that. Everybody found out that apparently drill instructors put one Marine in a dryer and spun him around. So that the word got out and everybody was making jokes about it.
Serious findings was that 2 drill instructors had woken a Muslim recruit up in the middle of the night and ordered him to climb into an industrial clothes dryer. One of the drill instructors turned it on with the recruit inside, stopping it every so often to ask the recruit if he was still Muslim. Another Muslim recruit had reported a similar incident some weeks earlier. The dryer incident entered the folklore of the Marine Corps almost immediately. There were dryer jokes in every unit group chat and on veteran pages and underneath every article about the investigation. There is a common explanation for this type of humor, which is that people who spend their lives around death and suffering often employ gallows humor as a coping mechanism. In my experience, it rarely goes this deep, and the humor is basically as simple as this. It's a ghastly thing to joke about, and that's what makes it funny. For a while, my Wi-Fi name was the Ghost of Raheel Siddiqui. But very often, alongside the joking, an argument was being made.
And that's another thing, sometimes you joke about trauma to get through it, It's a common thing, and it gets you through it, so there's that. Because it's some sort of like weird coping mechanism. But I'll buy some beer. We'll be back in 45 seconds. All right, brother man. Scratching my legs with my fingernails because I was so mad. My leg is sore. Yeah, be careful, Pinky. Try not to harm yourself.
It went something like this. Recruit training exists to weed out people who can't handle it, and a recruit who breaks after 5 days is the exact kind of person that training is supposed to weed out. If the enlistment standards were what they were supposed to be, he would never have made it through the door.
That's my camp. That's how I feel about it. Like, honestly, I get it. It's tough and it's harsh and it shouldn't have happened. I guess some things are a little too far. But when I hear people complain about the training regime that they went through and how hard it was, and I'm like, just rub some sand on it, do some push-ups.
For many Marines and veterans, the real problem was not that weak recruits were mistreated. It was that they were let in at all, and that their drill instructors were being crucified just for doing their job.
As recruits in the United States Marine Corps, you are the lords of all ranks and will conduct yourself accordingly.
Maybe he will learn to be more respectful, be more thoughtful when making videos. My legs hurt, but I don't scratch them. Yeah, it's probably best not to, induce any scratches.
Anytime that you want to speak to a drill instructor, you will come up, get yourself at the position of attention, which you are at right now, and say, sir, Private, whatever your last name is, request permission to speak. You will speak when spoken to.
The idea that the Marine Corps is not what it used to be is older than anyone making the claim. There is a tendency to think of it as a linear progression from a harder and tougher old Corps to a gentler and more accommodating new Corps. The Marine Corps that made real Marines is always in the past, and every Marine conveniently places himself just above the point where the...
So true. It's through the ages. Everybody says, oh, the Marine Corps was harder when I was in. Your father will say that. Your grandfather will say that. Your great-great-grandfather will say that. Your great-great-great-great-grandfather will say the same thing. The Marine Corps used to be tougher. Well, maybe. But, yeah, it is what it is. Everyone went through the hardest Marine Corps. What is this?
Decline became terminal. A steady stream of promotional material.
I have to get up and move around all the time. Well, absolutely. Make sure you get the blood flowing, get the nerves going.
Materials or human interest stories about recruits with unusual backgrounds. One time we arranged for the commanding general to do a Dr. Seuss reading at the local library. Then the death of Raheel Siddiqui became national news.
Yep.
Our captain would spend most of his day on the phone, issuing carefully worded statements about recruits being mistreated or the Marine Corps' attitude toward Muslims. From the outside, my office looked very much like an average civilian workplace. We held brainstorming sessions and sat at computers editing photos and videos.
Yeah, John, it looks like we're getting away from that, from just everyday mannerisms.
But it was still a military unit, which makes for a strange work environment because there is very little separation between your job and the rest of your life. Many of my coworkers were roommates with each other in the barracks. Every morning they'd wake up and exercise together in the dark before coming into work, and go home to the same faces in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
For all intents and purposes, our office belonged to a civilian contractor named Mike. Mike was a GS-12, which is a federal pay grade that is roughly equivalent in status to a major, and we were expected to treat him as such. He had been running the office for decades, and over time it had become his personal fiefdom. The military leadership rotated out every couple of years, and each time a new officer or master sergeant arrived, Mike would take them under his wing. He had been there for over 20 years.
Restless legs. Oh no, Vicky.
And knew everything about the place, so his personal preferences had a way of becoming their top priorities. Every so often, a first sergeant or battalion commander would come in demanding that we change our schedule to shoot a training event or retirement ceremony on short notice. Mike would receive them with his arms folded across his chest, speaking to them with the patient familiarity of someone dealing with an inexperienced subordinate. If they asked him if he had a background in the military,
all right, Pinky, we'll take
himself,
a look. We'll take a look at your video, see how good your content is, and read your story. It sounded a little tragic.
He he would be deliberately evasive. One time he told me that he believed Marines respected him because he carried himself like someone who had been CIA or Special Forces. I just go on letting them think it, he told me. More than anything, Mike liked to feel like the smartest person in the room. If you were
Yeah, I'll turn the captions on when I watch it.
willing to play along with that, he would be warm and complimentary towards you, but anything he perceived as a slight could send him into a seething rage. He viewed himself as an expert on human psychology and could monologue for an hour at a time about how he understood Marines better than they understand themselves. There was, sadly, some
Everybody
truth
says
to
that.
this. Mike was very good at quickly sizing someone up and figuring out what made them tick. Whenever a new Marine would arrive at the unit, Mike would take an immediate interest in them. He'd praise their work and tell them he saw leadership potential in them and encourage them to push themselves harder and take on greater responsibilities. Then, in a conversation with that Marine section chief, he'd wonder aloud if maybe the new kid was getting a bit too ambitious. "If I were you, I'd put him in check," he'd say. "He might be coming after your job someday." He played these kind of games constantly, always.
But isn't that the truth everywhere? You know, to maintain your spot in a company, say you're a supervisor and you have a rising star, another employee is, rising through the ranks. So you try to put them down. Instead of advancing to the next level, you keep the people below you down. So no one takes your spot.
With the goal of exploiting whatever ambition or insecurity he could to apply pressure and extract every ounce of effort he could out of the Marines. In a civilian job, there is always some point at which a bad enough boss can make you start looking for new employment. In the military, this is not possible, and it is hard to overstate the harm that can be caused by a toxic person in a leadership role.
But so Mike got pissed off because she was doing a work order for the CWO. Gave her another task. Just yelled at her, saying that CW reports to him and that all his tasks to take precedence over anything else. Also is just crying in the back right now, just mumbling to herself. LOL.
I used to explain it to people like this. Imagine the worst person you've ever met. Now imagine that this person controls when you eat and sleep. You have no way to remove yourself from their influence, and it is a federal crime to call them out on anything.
Damn.
There was a very narrow band of acceptable enthusiasm that was allowed in our office. If Marines were unhappy, it was treated as a personal failing. But if they were perceived as getting too comfortable, that was a sign that discipline was slipping and the corporals needed to start applying pressure. One time, our leadership decided to boost morale with a mandatory trip to Buffalo Wild Wings after work on a Friday. Some of the junior Marines had been overheard complaining at the prospect of losing their Friday evening free time. The corporals and sergeants held a meeting to discuss the ingratitude.
It's the fact that leadership could decide something called mandatory fun day. That always upsetted me, or made me upset.
Of the junior Marines. Here was the leadership trying to do something nice for them, and instead of appreciating it, they were complaining and displaying a bad attitude. A friend of mine spoke up with a dissenting opinion. Maybe they just want to leave and go home for the day, and we're taking that away from them. The other NCOs stared at him blankly for a moment, and then went back to discussing how to best punish the Marines. One of them pulled out the depot order and pointed out that they could reschedule morning PT as early as 4 a.m. The Marine Corps has a concept it calls the Combat and Operational Stress Continuum. It's a scale that sorts a Marine's mental state into 4 color-coded zones. Green is basically normal. Yellow is reacting to the temporary stress of a bad day or tense situation. Orange and red are when the stress has done real damage that doesn't go away when the day ends. The model is usually taught in the context of Marines on combat deployments, but it describes the long-term effects of a toxic workplace just as well. Marines would arrive at our office in the green, fresh from schooling and excited to be doing the job that they'd signed up for. One of the nice things about our field was that it afforded a lot of room for creativity, and new Marines would volunteer for shoots and take real pride in their photos or video projects. Then gradually you'd watch them change. They'd become withdrawn, irritable, and hyper-vigilant to the fickle moods of our leadership. By the time they were good at their job, they usually hated it, hated the Marine Corps, and were just counting down the days until they could get out. Over time, the habit...
You know, I never got to hate the Marine Corps. Or maybe I just never admitted it. You know? I always wonder if I did count the days before getting out. I was getting ready to transition back to the civilian world. Or the civilian sector. But I don't think I hated the Marine Corps. And now I kind of miss it. I have apps that show the backrooms, but for some reason won't let me watch the Don't Know Why. Huh. Are you a photographer? No. I'm a combat correspondent.
Habits that people learned to deal with the stress started to become part of their personality. Someone who had learned to anticipate the next big meltdown appeared to be anxious and high-strung. Someone who had learned to stop caring seemed cynical and jaded. A few people that I worked with lost the ability to cope at all. One spent several months in an inpatient psychiatric program. During this period of my life, I developed several chronic autoimmune disorders, which my doctors believed were the result of prolonged stress. I still live with them. By this point in my career, I was a non-commissioned officer and technically part of the leadership myself, but I had lost any interest in exercising the authority that came with it.
You got time to tweet, you got time to sweep.
Are you kidding me?
For the most part, I got along pretty well with everyone. Sometimes I would take the blame for stupid things to protect the junior Marines. I was pretty good at flattering Mike's ego or talking my way out of trouble with our Master Sergeant. I did, however, have a reputation as someone who liked to stir the pot.
I just got my 214 months ago. Well, immediately took it to the recruiter's office, and now I'm waiting for word to go back in. Oh, man. Are you being serious? Like you're trying to get back inside or like get back into the Marine Corps? Because if you do, like, kudos to you, man. At my age, I'm only 30, 30 something, but tell you what, I don't think I could do it again. Like in my brain, I feel like I can, but I know my body doesn't accept it. Burning like a mist. Was there a spider in it?
One time I printed out a stack of fake SOUs and put them on our platoon sergeant's desk to distribute to the Marines. An SOU is a statement of understanding. It's basically a form acknowledging some...
Yeah, back in the Marine Corps, the recruiter was like, "When did you get out?" And I was like, literally 20 minutes ago. Well, good luck, man. I hope you get in, because if you're still in great shape, if you're still up for the job, then good on you, man. I wish I could do it. I really, really wish I could go back. But back in the mirror. Should I finish my other videos? Things minutes long. Yeah, go ahead and finish your videos, Pinky. Make some content.
Rule or policy, so that later if you violate it, there's a paper trail proving that you were briefed on it. Mine informed the Marines that an extra minute was being added to the UTC time standard. It explained that the extra minute did not constitute liberty, and failure to spend it at your appointed place of duty would be considered unauthorized absence.
Never too late, devil dog. Yeah, I hope not. I mean, if I joined anything, I'll probably like join the firefighters, or I don't know, maybe become like a volunteer firefighter. I'd like to try that.
The Marines at my shop skimmed it and rolled their eyes behind. It didn't sound much dumber than the real ones.
They signed
I did things like this
a
constantly.
fake
I'd spread
item.
small, oddly specific lies and rumors and enjoyed seeing how long I could keep people believing them. Eventually, everyone learned to be suspicious whenever I walked into the room smiling. Once I had that reputation, I discovered that it was often even funnier to occasionally tell the truth and be the bearer of actual bad news. I'd come in smiling with some genuinely awful announcement, and nobody would believe me until they heard it from someone else. Some people were more fun to mess with than others. There was one Marine in the video section who was especially easy to wind up.
Yikes.
He was probably a little bit on the spectrum. He sometimes had trouble picking up on certain social cues or would get too carried away talking about something that everyone else had lost interest in. To be honest, I recognized these same qualities in myself. The main difference between us was that I was just a little bit older and slightly better at hiding them, and the stress of the office and petty cruelty of our leaders affected him much worse than it did me. He always caught a lot of bullshit from Mike and our master sergeant. He was a talented videographer, but somehow he was always in trouble for something. I saw him get written up for things that would be ignored in anyone else. Whenever I got bored, I'd walk over to his desk and convince him that something bad was about to happen, or ask him if Mike had talked to him yet and refused to elaborate. Sometimes I didn't even have to say anything. I'd just walk by smiling at him, and before long he'd be frantically canvassing around the office trying to figure out what I wasn't telling him. Anytime I saw that I got him too worked up, I'd drop the bit and try to nerd out with him about Warhammer or video games to get back on friendly terms. Then some time would pass, I'd get bored again and do it all over. I always considered him a friend, but after I got out of the Marine Corps, one of my former coworkers told me that he was relieved that I was gone.
Oh man, can you imagine being friends with somebody for years and then you find out like a decade later, oh, by the way, this person hated you. They tolerated you, but they mostly hated you. What a sinking feeling. Yeah, because you go around your life thinking that you're a good person, that you are bearable, that you are, sympathetic. And then you find out that all these people detested you. That is awful. I agree, Vicky. That is so awful.
Was the start of the court-martial for a Marine Corps drill instructor. Gunnery Sergeant Joseph Felix is facing charges of cruelty and maltreatment. He's accused of abusing 2 Muslim recruits, one who leapt to his death last year.
Oh, man.
WNCT's Elizabeth Tu brings us the latest from the court.
Man, I remember seeing this video when it first came out, when it first got released, and we found out. But there was a different story. It wasn't that he... it had nothing to do with Sadiq. It had everything, and not everything, but the way they wrote it down, they said that he assaulted somebody, and take it for what it is. Like, a lot of rumors got spread around. Some people are rude. Yeah, home is where you make it. You like to see homeboys naked? Some people. I'm not done, but I wanted to come 5. Oh, well, welcome back, Pinky.
Courtroom.
Felix was court-martialed at Camp Lejeune in the fall of 2017.
Lejeune.
The charges against him were extensive.
It's spelled Lejeune, but people say Lejeune, and I don't understand that. It upsets me.
The prosecution's case was that he had abused recruits across 3 different platoons, that he had singled out Muslim recruits repeatedly and in a clear pattern. They characterized him as a man drunk on power and occasionally fireball whiskey that he kept in his office.
Dang.
Over 3 weeks, former recruits and drill instructors took the
I
stand
broke
and
my
described how
so I
Felix
just
had run
lied
his
there for a
platoons.
bit.
He had slapped recruits, punched them, struck one of them with the barrel of a rifle hard
Oh
enough to make him
man,
bleed. When a
what was it? Joe Dirt.
recruit was caught drinking chocolate milk in the chow hall, Felix made the entire platoon chug 5 glasses of it before making them do exercises. When a recruit vomited, Felix ordered the recruit squad leader to drink it.
Dang.
The defense argued that he was just carrying out his job, a job that was intense, appeared ugly from the outside, difficult to defend in court, but no different from what happens in every squad bay on the island. The jury was comprised of 8 Marines. 5 were enlisted and 3 were officers.
Speaking of jury, guys,
all had been through recruit training or near.
I got selected for jury duty. I wonder if there's a way of excusing myself, you know, go up to whoever's in charge and say, hey guys, I don't want to be here. I really don't want to be here. I don't know. I'll figure something out. I'll talk to people and find out who's in charge and see if they can excuse me from jury duty. I know it's an important it's an important civics duty, but sorry, I have to go to dental. Yeah, I should say that. I should excuse myself and say, hey, I gotta go get my dental done. But yeah, I don't want to do jury duty. I really don't think I'm cut out for it.
Enough equivalent themselves and knew exactly what is and is not normal in training. Felix asked the jury for leniency. He spoke about his wife and daughters, his service in Iraq, and he wept. The jury deliberated for 12 hours and convicted him on 3 counts of maltreatment of recruits, 8 counts of violating a general order, dereliction of duty, drunken disorderly conduct, and making a false statement.
Dang. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5
The prosecution
counts?
asked for 7 years in prison. The jury gave him 10, reduction in rank to private, and a dishonorable discharge.
He got 10?
The comment sections quickly filled up with people.
2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So that means he got out 2 years ago. Dang.
Lamenting what the Marine Corps was coming to and reminiscing about how their own drill instructors had treated them. On December 23rd, 2024, Felix was released from prison for good behavior, having served a little over 7 years. On the 25th of January this year, he was arrested in Burton, South Carolina, about 15 minutes from Parris Island, and charged with cruelty to children. As of this video, the case remains pending.
Man, so he committed a crime, he got out, and then he committed another crime. Wow, what a dumb person.
Every time the subject of hazing and recruit training comes up, somebody will show up to explain that the process is meant to be demanding and brutal, and that recruits today would not be able to handle what it used to be like for recruits back in their day. You will probably see some of these people in the comments underneath this video.
That's me. I feel that way. I absolutely feel that way. You know, I believe that it's harsh. I understand it's harsh more than it should be. But quite frankly, for its purpose, the purpose of the Marine Corps, I get it. There's cameramen. There's water sanitation. There's supply, mechanics. There's Marines who are not intended for combat. I get it. I get that. But then you have the infantry. And these people have to be tough. They have to be desensitized. And the reason I'm saying that is because, you know, there is such thing as prisoners of war. And if you become one, treated in a really bad way. But if you already have honestly, I believe it. If you're already conditioned, then you might have a chance at escaping. Or it's a big argument, and maybe I'm wrong, and I accept the possibility that I could be wrong. But I maintain that, for what it is, the Marine Corps is intended to be tough as nails. And it's harsh, and nobody wants it to be harsh. I don't want it to be that way either. In fact, I don't have what it takes to even yell at people. But I think if you can't handle it, then maybe it's just not, maybe just don't do infantry, I guess. I don't know. Why did they call a Marine a jarhead? Just wondering. Marines get this haircut where they shave everything around except the top of the head. You have this circle of hair right here, right? This patch. And it looks like the lid of a jar. So they started calling people jarheads. Dude, the crazy part is nowadays it's hard to use training when you got FPV drones coming at you every one couple of seconds from every direction. Yes, it's like Zinks, how they used to say, "Oh, it's a snake. The snake now has wings." Well, you can make the same joke. IEDs that fly. Legit, most vehicle armor vaporized in seconds. Time to start fighting unmanned warfare. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to start locating factories that make drones and start, I don't know, striking them. And it's sad because there's civilians, but I mean, if they're intentionally putting explosives in drones, then maybe they deserve it. I don't know. War is complicated. I've never been to war, but it's bad. I think we can all agree that it's bad.
One of the reasons that this debate will never go away is because the Marine Corps has a complicated relationship with cruelty.
Mm-hmm.
Cruelty comes in several forms, and Marines tend to talk about all of them as though they are the same thing. I think broadly there are 3 different categories of cruelty in the Marine Corps, or in any similar organization. The first is cruelty that carries a legitimate purpose. This
even scarier part is that in Ukraine, they are making hundreds of drones out of random houses. What is it? They are making hundreds of drones out of a random houses, which is why Russia is targeting anything at this point. Yeah, just we're back to it's like more sophisticated IEDs. That's all it is. IEDs were made in houses, basements. All right, see you when you get back, Vicky. Let's try to get through the rest of this.
This is the easiest category to defend. The exact methods will vary between militaries, but the basic idea is not controversial. If soldiers are expected to function under conditions that are physically and psychologically unpleasant, then training will necessarily have to expose them to some of those conditions in advance. A recruit is screamed at and threatened in order to teach him how to act under pressure. He is made to hold out his rifle or footlocker until his arms ache, or forced to stand at the position of attention for hours among mosquitoes and sand fleas, to teach him that he has more strength and willpower than he may realize. In the process, he learns the single most important lesson that the Marine Corps has to teach, which is that being miserable is not the end of the world. Pain and humiliation are, in fact, quite habitable, There is still a life to be lived inside of them. You can be worn down and wretched and still crack a smile about it. But this is a double-edged sword, because a person who has learned that he can absorb almost any indignity may also learn to stop caring about whether he should have to. This brings me to the second category, which is unnecessary cruelty that is culturally tolerated. This is probably the most common type of cruelty in the Marine Corps, which has a particular affection for pretending that this second category is actually part of the first. But the truth is that sometimes people simply enjoy being assholes to each other, and there is no deeper explanation.
That's the thing. The Marine Corps is full of it. It's full of this pranks. You know how when you go to a party and it's late at night and you've been drinking and you fall asleep on a couch? What do they call it? They call it party foul, right? If you fall asleep, you have committed a party foul. Well, so what you do for the Marine Corps is you take that concept and you expand it beyond the limitations. Now in the Marine Corps, falling asleep, being hapless, being unsuspecting will result in the same penalty as a party foul. And it could be worse, right? I mean, when you go to a party and you fall asleep, somebody might draw glasses on, take a Sharpie and draw on your face, maybe give you a pair of glasses, a Hitler mustache, I don't know, something cruel. And the Marine Corps, same deal, but around the clock. Like, it's taken to its most absurd conclusion.
Somebody who has been handed a measure of authority discovers that there's a certain amount of entertainment value to be had in using it to be obnoxious. The military, with its rigid hierarchy, is particularly well suited for this, because it supplies a large population of people who are required to tolerate your personality. One of my biggest takeaways from the Marine Corps is that it was full of assholes, including myself, and that sometimes being an asshole can be pretty funny. At its best, this is reciprocal. There is even a sort of social contract around this. You are allowed to be an asshole to people, but you are also expected to be able to take it back when it comes around your way. This is not necessarily a bad way for a group of people to live and work together.
I love you very much. I do not approve this message.
But a culture that tolerates cruelty will eventually develop an enormous
my Discord channel, it's called, I believe it's called the Crafty Raccoon. Is my Discord channel, exactly as it sounds, the Crafty Raccoon. So feel free to join. Oh, well, welcome back, Vicky.
Tolerance for it. The people inside of it become good at shrugging off small cruelties and very bad at noticing or caring about large ones. This is the third category, which is cruelty that is both unnecessary and malignant.
You gotta be wary of Discord, Pinky. If you do get a Discord, be very mindful.
Nature.
See, this is the one I disagree with. The malignant in danger, the one that causes harm. That's the cruelty that I disagree with. Like, if you cause somebody to get a brain injury. I remember when I was in the USS Kearsarge, which is a naval ship as part of the Marine Expeditionary Unit, right? The 24th Marine Expeditionary Unit. I remember this guys teamed up on this other guy, and they beat him up so bad that he ended up with he had to get brain surgery. So malignant cruelty is the one that I absolutely abhor. But when you join the Marine Corps, what I can say is that no matter what, you're in danger. And that's like the best way I can describe it. You're around a bunch of fit, muscular, violent people. And it's just the way it is.
A monstrous sadist can thrive in an environment like the Marine Corps because the institution has a ready-made explanation for nearly everything that he does. He can disguise whatever he wants to do as necessary for correcting mistakes or maintaining discipline. The culture has already taught his victims that suffering is normal and complaining about it is weakness. People around them may not even recognize what is happening until the behavior becomes so extreme that its true nature can no longer be concealed. A drill instructor has no legitimate reason to know or care which of his recruits is Muslim, besides knowing which religious service to take him to on a Sunday. There is little credible justification for punishing someone who asks to go to sick call or deliberately inflicting injuries severe enough to prevent a motivated recruit from continuing training. And there is certainly no training value to being spun around inside of an industrial dryer until you renounce your religion.
Exactly.
There are people out there who will bend themselves into knots trying to defend these practices. But I think at some point we have to admit that there is such a thing as evil in this world.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what was inside of Gunnery Sergeant Felix's soul, what experiences shaped him, or the stories that he told himself to justify the things that he did. But I think that evil rarely, if ever, arrives with a clear understanding of what it is doing. It seems to proceed from...
Yeah, I agree, Vicky. It's tough out there, you know, when you... I don't know, I mean, it's a lot of cruelty all around, am I right? But then there's us, and if you ever make a Discord, join us, join my group. It's a bunch of good people.
Much smaller corruptions of the will, the enjoyment of power, finding amusement in someone else's suffering, the belief that they deserve what is happening to them. If we do not recognize and push back against these instincts in ourselves, they become habits. Over time, these habits reshape our sense of what is normal, and eventually a person can become capable of doing things that he would have once found unthinkable, while continuing to tell himself that he is a good person doing a difficult job. One of my favorite videos of all time is a scene from Burden of Dreams. It's a making-of documentary about Werner Herzog filming Fitzcarraldo in 1982. The film is about hauling a steamship over a mountain in the Peruvian jungle, which Herzog insisted on recreating manually without using miniatures or special effects. The production was a disaster in just about every way you can think of. At one point, the camera lingers on a visibly defeated Herzog while he goes off on a monologue about the jungle around them. He describes the jungle as vile and base, a place of death and suffering devoid of harmony or order. He says it's like a curse laid upon the earth, and everyone who ventures into it takes on their share of its curse. But then at the end, he says this.
When I say this all full of admiration for the jungle. It is not that I hate it. I love it. I love it very much. But I love it against my better judgment.
This is more or less how I feel looking back on my time in the Marine Corps.
Yikes.
The Marine Corps made me a worse person while I was inside of it. It didn't teach me cruelty, but it brought out and amplified antisocial traits and impulses that were already inside of me, by creating conditions where there was little consequence for deploying them. At its best, the military throws people together from every kind of background and forces them to learn how to tolerate each other's flaws and eccentricities, until somewhere along the way that tolerance turns into friendship. I met people in the Marine Corps who turned out to be the kindest and most dependable friends I've ever had. People who would give up their precious free time after work to help you move, or take the blame for something that wasn't their fault rather than let it land on you. And some of those people could also be just as petty and spiteful as I was.
I'm collecting all the fucking PS4s in the barracks.
We'd egg each other on and laugh about it, often with the very same people we fucked over, and I don't think any of us saw much contradiction in it. The camaraderie and the cruelty both grew out of the same soil. I think this is why the Marine Corps is so hard for people to remember honestly. By nearly any objective measure, it is a genuinely awful place.
People don't think it be like it do, but it do.
But almost everyone remembers it fondly, even when you know that you hated every single minute of it.
You look so happy.
Like Malkovich. Yeah.
What the heck?
There is a strange intimacy that comes from sharing a miserable existence with other people who understand it. I've never found anything like it in the comfort of civilian life, and I don't expect to.
But yeah, I guess rose-colored glasses, right? I think when you look back at something so harsh, you only remember the good stuff. I like to tell people when they ask me, what was the Marine Corps like? I tell them, like 99.975% sucks. But the small fraction of a percentage that is awesome, it's freaking awesome. It's exhilarating. It's friendship. It's camaraderie. It's a fun experience. You get to travel the world. You get to see so many things that otherwise you would have never seen. And that's what I remember. I remember the friendships. I remember the times I spent with those people, men that I love. I love these men. These are men that are close to my heart, and I call them whenever I get a chance. And I care about them. It's people that are, it's a true brotherhood. And that's where the rose-colored glasses come in. Bullying a G-boot is a rite of passage and also fun. Yeah. Oh man, so true.
I graduated in April, and I'm now here. It's almost July. So literally almost 8 months on the island.
Like I said to my son, sure, mine's like, maybe not the island that you want.
I won't, but did we ever get dropped or people?
No. He had some issues.
Once again, guys, this has been a video by Lost Things Found. So if you want to watch it on your own and without my interruptions, the name of the channel is Lost Things Found. Make sure you don't have to ring the bell, but make sure you subscribe and like if you get a chance. Again, the name of the channel is Lost Things Found. It's wonderful, and if you want to enjoy it by yourself, go for it. I mean, it's just something to examine. It's like peeking into a world that you don't understand. Oh, everybody, bye. I have to go. It's like 12:48. Bye, Vicky. Have a good night. And then Luna Citrus. I already watched the documentary video, but I wanted to say thank you for giving your own thoughts and experiences, man. Have a good night. Peace. Absolutely, Luna Citrus. Thank you so much. And thank you for hanging around. I hope this was interesting. Cam Frass, I did really like his video, even though I didn't agree with everything. Made me feel like I was talking to a body in the bricks. Yeah, that's exactly how it feels. Again, very sincere, It's a very sincere conveying of what it's like to be in the Marine Corps. Vicky, or should I say Vinky, or have a good night. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out. If you want to subscribe to my channel, I want to say one thing. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. Okay, so I just want to take a quick moment to say thank you to everybody that stuck around. If you want to subscribe to my channel, please do. What I actually do in this channel is I rescue animals. I rescue dogs. All right. Today I saw this this dog with severe skin problems, and I think he had like mouth cancer or something, and I realized I couldn't help it. But if you guys help me grow this channel, I can definitely help more puppies, rescue more dogs. So please, guys, if you guys want to subscribe, eventually this should lead to a situation where I can rescue more puppies, more dogs, more strays. Thank you guys once again, and I hope to see you again in the next live stream. Bye, guys. Take care. So to Vicky, Pinky, Luna, Cam, and Zinx, everybody, thank you again. And I will see you. Absolutely, Semper Fidelis, Cam. Catch you tomorrow, brother. Catch you on the next one, Zinx. All right, guys. Take care of yourselves and get some rest. And I'll see you later. John, thank you for sticking around, brother. All right. I'll see you in the next live stream, guys. Take care. Bye.